Hi, I'm Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy. I wanted to know what off-roading is to you.
So to me, off-roading is really just any type of off-road vehicle, like you've seen sandrails, jeeps, lifted, just any a lifted type of a vehicle that you can take to a dirt trail or anywhere where there really isn't streets.
Hi, I'm Amber.
Hey Amber, I was hoping you might be able to explain to us what off-roading is.
Off-roading is where you're going to take a vehicle off of a main road and you're going to go ahead and use that on all-terrain, basically on dirt roads, climbing it on rocks.
Awesome, okay.
And are there any modifications that you can do for vehicles for off-roading?
Yeah, there's actually a couple important ones right off the back. Bigger tires is a must. I know that's what I have on my. I currently have a 2003 Jeep Wrangler. Um, so tires, a lift kit, which is vital to try and make it over stuff. But those are some of the more basic ones. So, have you ever been off-roading before?
I haven't actually gone off-roading yet. So what vehicle would you say you prefer for off-roading?
What vehicle? Honestly, I would have to go with. I would say Jeep. I know it's kind of cliche to say just because I have one, but that's the first type of off-road vehicle that I've ever really taken out. My friends have other types of vehicles that they like, so that's just preference. So what got you into off-roading then?
Off-roading, for me, I got into it because my boyfriend does it. He showed me a couple of videos of it. Have you ever driven another off-road vehicle besides a Jeep?
I have. Um, it's more of a recreational vehicle, if you will, but I've taken stuff that are more along the lines, if you will, that look more like go-karts, and they're a little bit smaller than sandrails. Sandrails is basically a cage with you inside of it, and it's like a go-kart on steroids. And is there anything in particular about those videos that caught your eye?
For me, I thought it was pretty fun seeing what it was actually done and as far as going and doing something different. Earlier you mentioned a lift kit. What exactly is that?
So a lift kit like I said, it's a vital part of it for any off-road vehicle. And what it is there's different key parts in an off-road vehicle that allows it to raise it a couple inches off the ground for more clearance based off of where you take it.
Okay.
Have you looked up info about off-roading that really just interests you?
Yes, for that I've gone ahead, I've looked at different videos and seen different trails and what actually different vehicles can do. And when you're taking your off-road vehicle out, do you haul or trail with it at all?
As of right now, I don't, but I do have the option. So say it's got a hitch in the back, which is most vehicles with a bigger engine haul size. It allows you to haul stuff better. Like for instance, right now if I wanted to, I could put a dirt bike or a smaller type of recreational vehicle or recreational off-road type of thing on the back of my Jeep, and I can use the hitch to be able to haul it around. So trailers are probably the biggest thing I can do. Is there anything that you've learned about off-roading that you feel is important?
As far as off-roading, I feel that it's good to go in a group as well as to make sure you're comfortable yourself with driving it and going ahead and just going during the daytime, I would say probably to be the best. When you're driving, do you prefer a manual or an automatic when you're going off-roading?
So I think that's more of a preference as far as having something that between a manual and a stick. I prefer manual just because I like more. I think it gives you more control as far as the power goes on any vehicle, regardless of what you're using it for, because your shifting points are different on a manual vehicle. You can control how much power you want to give it at that point, versus on an automatic, the computer inside the vehicle kind of tells it when to shift, if you will. So I think I've heard different things really. For beginners, that part of learning, like yourself, is it better in the day or the night, would you say?
I would definitely say the daytime, just because it's more visible than at nighttime.
A little bit easier for you to see since you're wearing glasses.
Yeah, you could say. When you're off-roading, are there any necessities that you would bring or recommend to bring?
Oh yes, there's many, and I see that for it's more for having fun. There's things that you can bring for safety, convenience. So obviously we went over a couple: tires, lift kit, just so you have a point of contact with other people, whether you're going out there in a group or not. But it's also kind of a safety feature, as well as it's a CB radio, and the CB radio kind of works like a walkie-talkie, only it's a walkie-talkie on steroids. So you have a giant antenna that comes out your vehicle, and then you have a little mic that you talk into. Other than that, we also carry tools, depending on how long we're going to be out there, food and water, farm jack, because on a lifted vehicle, you're going to want more clearance with a jack than you would a regular type of jack with with your point A to point B car, if you will. And then there's also, I have an electric winch, and that thing is a lifesaver, because whether you have a friend that just did something kind of dumb and got stuck or flipped his car, or I should say his Jeep, or whatever he's out there with, you can use that winch to hook it up and then use your vehicle to get him out or get yourself out as well. And it's also having I should say steel rock sliders, which is they're tubular steel bars that go around the vehicle, and these are more universal. They're just customized for each type of vehicle. And what those will help you do is they protect your vehicle all around, so you don't smash the frame and ruin the integrity of the vehicle you're driving in. In my case, it happens to be a Jeep. Do you feel off-roading is a family type of event?
In my perspective, I'm still learning how to drive stick, so I want to make sure I'm fully comfortable with doing that and that I don't have any hesitation or doubt. When you're going off-roading, how long do you normally go out there typically?
If I'm by myself, sometimes I just do easy stuff. Where I can go out there for a couple hours if I want, enjoy the scenery or take some shots, take my GoPro out and get some cool footage to put on YouTube. If I'm going out with friends, and it's a kind of a camping trip type of deal, maybe anywhere from 2 to 3 days, absolute tops, because supplies don't last that long on the fly. Okay, so what type of hesitation or doubts come with off-roading?
It comes with the unexpected. When you're doing off-roading for the first time, you're not going to know every in and out of how to do it. You want to be comfortable on the terrain that you're driving. You don't want to panic. As well as that, are there any places where you're not allowed to go?
It's hard to say right off the back, just because you don't know exactly. I mean, unless you've traveled around, you don't know exactly what you're gonna run into until you really run into it. So based on my own experience, unless there's a road that's got warning signs all over the place, like you would see in Area 51, the only difference is you're not gonna get shot on sight. Is you might see a gate with a padlock on it that's completely blocked off. That's usually kind of an unwritten rule of, hey, you probably shouldn't go on a private property, because who knows what might happen there. But it's in most cases though, you'll just see warning signs everywhere. Anything that sticks out about off-roading vehicles, to your knowledge?
For me, the first thing that caught my eye were the raised tires off the ground. That's kind of was like different, as well as the actual type of tire it is.
So the tires are usually bigger on an off-road type of a vehicle than your average car, would you say?
Yes.
Alright, sounds about right.
And would you recommend off-roading as a family type of thing to do?
Oh yeah, definitely. As long as you don't do anything too outrageous and you're not completely new at it and just making poor decisions while you're out there that's gonna put someone in a dangerous position. But I mean, if you're out there and you're just having some good old family fun, and there's nothing against that. If say you have a Jeep with an extended cab in it, or any other type of vehicle that can fit more than just two people in it, it never really hurts to take the family out sometimes, or some other friends in that same in the same type of vehicle, and then just go out and hill climb or do something really fun. Do you have any advice or recommendations for someone looking to get into off-roading?
For my advice, I would definitely go in a group. When you're going out, make sure you tell someone that's not in the group that you're going with, and to let them know the area you're going, how long you expect to be out there, pack the necessities that you're going to need, food, water, that type of thing, the essentials. Do you have any recommendations for someone that hasn't gone off-roading yet?
Yes, and this is based off of my own experience. If you're gonna go out, if you're gonna go out alone, I should say, be careful and be very cautious of what you're doing, because it can get dangerous depending on what you're doing. Like I said, there's you have even. I just have an unwritten rule where it's expect the worst, but just have a good time. But if you're also one of those people who just likes to have fun, and you want to go out there and then you want to experience it with other people who know what they're doing, if you've never been, I would highly suggest going in a group first. Do you have kids yourself?
Yes, I do.
How many kids do you have?
2.
Would you ever take your kids off-roading?
I would, as far as that goes. I just want to make sure I'm comfortable before I go out there.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Alright, well thank you, Amber, I appreciate it.
You're welcome, thank you. Okay. And overall, with off-roading, is it expensive, would you say, to do the modifications?
It really, to me it can, but it really just depends on your definition of a budget. If you're making a lot of money and you just have money to throw away no matter what breaks, because I guarantee you every time you go out, you might end up breaking something. For me, yeah, I broke a shock at one point. So my Jeep was, when I was driving, it looked like this, and going it was kind of crooked. It was throwing my steering off and whatnot. But otherwise, I would say, parts are expensive. It can get that way, but if you have money to throw at it, it's really not that bad. If you're budgeting, then it kind of becomes a problem, because you're doing it. It's kind of a project to work on over time.
Okay. And overall, to wrap this all up, would you want to add anything to this about off-roading?
Be well prepared. I look at everything as if it's a fire extinguisher. It's better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it.